Good evening, good evening. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another live edition of Carolina Panthers Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Shout outs as well to my partner, Mr. Carolina of the Bleeding Carolina Blue podcast. Hope he's doing well. So, got quite a bit to talk about tonight. Carolina Panthers, the organization's been busy. Some folks got cut. Some folks, they're signing. And we got some folks exploring the free agency market. It's going to join other teams. So, got quite a bit happening today and pretty much going into tomorrow. So, we're going to talk about the signings and the cuts that have been made. Let's start with the cuts. So, Carolina Panthers organization have cut both defensive end Morgan Fox and cornerback A.J. Bouye. So, I was kind of surprised at first with the cutting of A.J. Bouye, mainly because they've also decided to allow Stephon Gilmore and Dante Jackson to explore the free agency market. And with that being the case, that gave me the impression that we're most likely not going to get them, which makes the secondary very, very young. Because, I mean, when you think about it, no A.J. Bouye, no Stephon Gilmore, no Dante Jackson. So that means, J.C. Horn, C.J. Henderson would probably be the one and the two. You got Keith Taylor. Oh, man. You got Miles Hartsfield. Got STO the third. I mean, and I don't even know if Troy Pride Jr. is gonna come back the same, but we're gonna have a very young secondary. Jeremy Chin. Yeah, we're gonna have a very young secondary. So, looking at the release of A.J. Bouye, this definitely helps free up cap space. I just felt like this was the most surprising one. Morgan Fox, I mean, I can't really say that Morgan Fox really did too much on our team, but yeah, just I was mainly surprised by the cutting of A.J. Bouye. Hey, Joe Valesco, what's up? I can't believe it. We didn't re-sign Hassan Reddick. I mean, I figured with them allowing him to explore free agency, I didn't think he was going to come back. And what Joe Valesco is talking about, y'all, actually the Philadelphia Eagles have decided to pick up Hassan Reddick in free agency, I believe, for 3 years, and he's getting paid. That's the thing, though. Hassan Reddick, 2 back-to-back seasons, one with the Cardinals and one with the Panthers, where he's recorded double-digit sacks. I mean, he was looking to get paid. So I don't think Carolina was going to really give him the payday that he deserved. But yet, Philadelphia Eagles are willing to. So, I mean, sucks that it had to be that way, and it doesn't surprise me, but it just, you hate to see somebody like that go. I mean, he was one of our best defenders of last season. I mean, he finished the season leading the franchise with 11 sacks. So, sucks to see him go. Hey, Super Trebo, what's up? Super Trebo says, hey, Jason, was wondering your opinion. Are you kind of split about getting Deshaun Watson? I honestly don't know how I feel about it. I'm worried in a way. So here's my thing with that, Super Treybo. I'm kind of split too, but here's the thing. I still don't see us getting Deshaun Watson. And I could end up being wrong. But while Deshaun Watson would, that would end up being our quarterback, which would be great. I mean, he would be a great addition. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We haven't had a great quarterback since 2017. So having a Deshaun Watson definitely is a big boost. Let's not kid ourselves. My big concern is what we're giving up and what we're getting in return. So the word is, now I don't know if I have this 100% accurate, but the word is that the Texans are wanting 3 first-round picks, I think a couple of seconds, Brian Burns and Jeremy Chin, which I originally thought Jeremy Chin was untouchable, but then again, business is business. Nobody's really untouchable, I guess. But yeah, 3 firsts, like maybe 1 or 2 seconds, and Jeremy Chin and Brian Burns. Jeremy Chin, somebody who I felt like 2 years ago should have won Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then Brian Burns, who recently made the Pro Bowl. Now, at the same time, I do understand that if a team is trying to win now, you got to make win now moves. You got to make win now type of decisions. And this is clearly a win now move. So if that's their plan, I get it. But I would hope that we're getting at least one other player in this trade and not just Deshaun Watson. If we're giving up all this just for one sole player, that's a sign of desperation. It's a win now move, but it's a desperation move. Let's be honest about it. It's a desperation move. Whether we end up landing Deshaun Watson or not, the idea and the process of going through this is a desperation move. It might be a win now move, but it's a desperation move. And if this move doesn't translate into a Super Bowl, it will be all totally not worth it. This has got to translate into a Super Bowl. It has to. Whether it's in a year, hopefully it's within a year, or 2 years, this has got to translate into a Super Bowl. This has to. Joe Valesco says, we cannot give up Brian Burns. We already lost Hassan Reddick. I agree with you, but I mean, it's one of those things where if they're serious about winning now, then I mean, this apparently is what they feel that it looks like. This is what they feel win now looks like. And I don't even agree with letting go of Brian Burns and Jeremy Chin. I mean, folks can say a lot of stuff about Brian Burns, but that dude was a Pro Bowler for a reason. And Jeremy Chin, I mean, come on, like Jeremy Chin, especially at the nickel, dude excelled like crazy. Hey, what's up, Nathan John? Good to see you. Welcome. But my whole thing is just and we're getting one player, one. It's a desperation move. But I mean, we do need a quarterback. Quarterback is a big deal. But man, 3 first rounds, some seconds, and 2 young players, because that's what the Texans want young players. They want folks within their rookie contracts. So it's scary. It's scary. I still think it's a low possibility that we land them, but it'll be scary in a bad way and in a good way if we land Deshaun Watson. But only time will tell. Nathan John says, I'm happy with the signings today. Food value for both. Didn't overpay, surprisingly, too. Yes, good point. Good point. The signings that Nathan John are referring to. So we got ourselves a safety and an offensive lineman, a guard to be specific, not just any guard, but a guard that just recently won a Super Bowl. Let's take a look at that guard. We ended up picking up Austin Corbett. I hope I said that name right. Austin Corbett, 26 years old, played at Nevada. Was a second round pick out of the 2018 draft. The deal, 3 years, $29.25 million. And with that signing, that pretty much would seal the right side of our O-line. Taylor Moton, Austin Corbett. Austin Corbett, somebody that last year only gave up 3 sacks. The entire previous season only gave up 3 sacks, y'all. That's big. That's a ginormous win. Getting Austin Corbett, that's a ginormous win. Super Trebo says, yeah, just keep wondering why they keep wondering why he gets leaked to the Panthers and Saints. Where do you honestly think he may go, Jason? Honestly, Saints wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they kind of need a quarterback too. I was originally thinking Seattle after that blockbuster trade, sending away Russell Wilson. And it's not the Steelers because they're getting Mitchell Trubisky. So, hey, what's up, James Aaron? Good to see you. But yeah, I mean, Saints could happen. I don't know how it would happen, but Saints could happen. I didn't think they had the cap for it, but yes, it's crazy. But I don't know. I don't know. Like I originally said, there was only a 5% chance he'd come to Carolina, but I mean, if he's waiving his no trade clause, it might happen as early as tomorrow morning, y'all. As crazy as that sounds. Hey, what's up, Mamba? We have never been a part of a blockbuster trade, so I understand the confusion between fans, but some Panther fans are really talking stupid. Yeah, Twitter has been blowing up all day. Joe Valesco says, have you heard Tom Brady returning back? Yeah, returning back from what? A month and a half or 2 months retirement. He was never really done. He was never really done. I don't really know what he has left to prove. I mean, the dude has 7 rings, but I don't know. Wants to get paid some more. I don't know. Maybe he's salty that he didn't win an 8th. I don't know what he has to prove, but Nathan John says, guy who specializes in O-line on Twitter, Brandon Thorne, thinks Corbett is a top 5 or 6 right guard in the NFL. So for $10 million, it's a great signing. Yeah, I mean, just won a Super Bowl. And as I said, the whole entire previous season, only gave up 3 sacks. 3. So that right side looks very solid with him and Taylor Moton. Now we just gotta look at this left side. I mean, we got a Brady Christensen on rookie contract, but I think we can still add to that. See what we can do with the left guard position, because Michael Jordan ain't it. Dennis Daly, he ain't it. So I mean, we'll have to see what we can do with this left side, and then center position. I mean, I know Pat Elflein, for now, it's pretty much got that center position because I don't see us keeping Matt Paradis, but we got to strengthen that left side. Mamba says, I'd rather have an elite quarterback than have a good defensive end in Brian Burns. Here's the thing. That's a fair point, Mamba, but here's the thing. We're pretty much gutting our defense. Because you have to think. We would lose Brian Burns. If Brian Burns and Jeremy Chin aren't in this package for the trade, we're losing both of them. We just lost Hassan Reddick to the Eagles. We just lost Daquan Jones to the Bills, I believe. We're about to lose Gilly and D-Jack because they're exploring the free agency market. So, I mean, that's a lot of the defense gutted. And you have to also remember, even with the supposed number 2 ranked defense that we had last season, we still only won 5 games. So can you imagine how it would be this year if our defense got worse? That's the only thing. All right, I just feel like our defense is going to severely suffer. Nathan John says, the problem is, Mamba, if we give up Burns, our pass rush isn't getting good anytime with no early picks in the draft. I'd do the trade if it involves anyone but Brian Burns. I mean, because we lost Hassan. I mean, YGM, he's evolving. He's going to be something special, but YGM is still young, still has a lot to learn. But you take out Brian Burns and Hassan Reddick, that's a big blow to the D-line. And Daquan Jones was a starter. That's a big blow to the D-line. So Austin Corbett, good pickup. 3 years, $29.25 million. And then we picked up a safety, Xavier Woods. It's another 3-year deal. This is a 3-year, $15.75 million deal. So Xavier Woods, somebody that racked up quite a lot of tackles. Played with the Cowboys and played with the Vikings. 26 years old. Went to Louisiana Tech. He was a 6th-round pick in 2017. Currently has 340 total tackles, 1 sack, 5 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, 28 pass deflections, and 8 interceptions. Those are his career stats. So, I mean, Xavier Woods seems like a good pickup for Carolina, especially at that safety position, something that we definitely needed. Let me look up to see what he did. So last season, Xavier Woods had 72 solo tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions, and 10 passes deflected. And he played in all 17 games as well. 108 total tackles, 72 of them were solo. So, I mean, dude was pretty solid. Dude is pretty solid. I definitely think that's an upgrade over Justin Burris. What do y'all think? I think that's an upgrade over Justin Burris. See, Mama says, I'm not saying we should trade Brian. I'm using him as an example. You don't think that high tier free agents would be trying to come here if we get Deshaun? Yeah, I understand the value of quarterback. We need Deshaun big time. Don't get me wrong. I just don't really want to lose Burns. Only player I'd be shattered over losing. Yeah, I think a lot of people definitely feel the same way about Brian Burns. Let's see. As soon as the Bucs picked up Brady, players were falling over themselves to get to Tampa. Once again, I'd rather have an elite quarterback than a good defensive end. Nothing else matters if you don't have a quarterback. Yeah. The only thing is we potentially be losing 2 elite defensive ends. Because if you ask me, Brian Burns and Hassan Reddick aren't just good defensive ends. Those are elite defensive ends. That's the only thing. Quarterback, most important, no doubt. But like I said, the main thing that bothers me the most is we're giving up so much just to land just Deshaun Watson. Not Deshaun Watson and one other player, not Deshaun Watson and another pick, just Deshaun Watson. You know what I mean? That's a lot for one player. It's a win now move, but it's a very desperate move. And if this doesn't translate into a Super Bowl within 1 to 2 years, then it's kind of a bust move. It's kind of a bust move. Nathan John says Xavier Woods had a very good run defense grade with PFFs last year. He was also the only defensive player in the NFL to play every snap last year. That is true. So there is some consistency there. Mama says, I understand. I like Brian too, but quarterback is more of a priority in today's league. Very much true. Very much true. Now let me ask y'all. Are y'all honestly, just keep it real, are y'all honestly okay with a trade package of 3 first rounds, maybe let's say 2 second rounds, Jeremy Chin, Brian Burns, in exchange for Deshaun Watson? Are y'all honestly okay with that trade? Because I can't say that I'm 100% okay with that trade. Personally, Woods is a big upgrade on Burris. Agreed. Highly agreed. Joe Valesco says no. So he says no to my question. I mean, we're swinging big. I will give them credit. But Mr. Gemini says yes. You would be okay with that? And Mamba says he'd be okay with that. He says, yes, I am. That's what it will take to have an elite quarterback in his prime. The thing is, I mean, y'all have to remember, we already don't have a second and a third round pick in this upcoming draft. We give up one of the first rounds because one of the first rounders is, for this season. We ain't going to have no picks, y'all. Especially this upcoming season, we ain't going to have no picks. Like, I mean, can we at least get Laramie Tunsil in that deal? At least? I mean, I mean, that's almost like giving up your whole starting lineup on a basketball team just to get Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? That's the vibe I kind of get from this. It's like giving up your entire starting lineup to get Michael Jordan. that's what the vibe that I'm getting from this. Nathan John says, makes me nervous giving up that much. Better have done their research on Watson. Mr. Gemini says, pick what, a franchise quarterback? This is a proven young quarterback. Oh, no. Oh, of course. Deshaun Watson, of course. Absolutely. Nathan John says, I'd probably do it, however, just because I don't want the Saints to have Watson. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Mama says, that's fine. We have a history of finding gems late in the draft. Just like Andrew Norwell and Steve Smith Sr., the draft does not end in the first round. Look at Keith Taylor, for example. But that doesn't change the fact that we won't have as many picks. We'll have a lot less picks, though. That's the point that I'm making. I'm okay with the late rounds. That's fine. But that's a lot of lost picks, which means less players to acquire. That's ultimately my issue with this. Because we already don't have a second and a third. And then we give up one of our firsts. So 1, 2, 3, that's 3 rounds. And then we also gotta have the money for free agency, which it is cool that if we do acquire Deshaun Watson, that we would be able to restructure his contract. So at least that's cool. But I mean, it's going to take a lot to get Deshaun Watson and handle his contract. And then I hope we could send Sam Darnold. Help get another team to take on some of that contract. Because remember that 18 mil, Sam Darnold. So it's just really tough. That's cool. Free agency exists, but free agency expensive though. That's very true. See what Christian Kirk went for today? $84 million for 4 years. Holy overpay. That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Mamba says we're too deep in now. If we pull out of it, then the Saints have Deshaun. I mean, this is true. I mean, it would be another dangerous quarterback to deal with in the NFC South. That is true. But like I said, I understand the move. If it's a win now move. So I totally understand the move. And I mean, Deshaun wouldn't be far from home, especially his college at Clemson. But yeah, Deshaun Watson would be a very huge upgrade. Indeed. Mr. Gemini says the Saints don't have any cap room though. That's what we were told, but I don't know. If Deshaun's listening to offers from the Saints, and apparently they got something up their sleeve. They got something up their sleeve in order for them to get Deshaun to at least sit down and listen to an offer. So but and apparently Matt Rule and Scott Fitterer weren't in the office for this. So I think I guess they're meeting with Mr. Tepper, I would hope. And the thing that kind of bothers me though David Tepper's been kind of quiet. I feel like he hasn't really spoken up. So I don't know. Maybe this is the calm before the storm, but it's kind of making me nervous. Nathan John said, saw some posts on Twitter today. Not a single player from our free agent class last year is on the roster today. Incredible. Yeah, and that's another big issue. Hassan, gone. Stephon Gilmore, most likely gone. Morgan Fox, gone. A.J. Bouye, gone. It's not really a great look. It's not a great look, but they're pulling everything they can together to pitch this deal to land Deshaun Watson. Scout, welcome. Good to see you. It's been a while. I think that if we give up 3 first-round picks, which is what the Texans want, it might be a little too much. But if we do that, we know what we're getting out of it. But we might be losing some good players. Not only that, but my whole thing is we're potentially only getting Deshaun Watson in return. Not another player, not another pick, and just so much, all of that, just for one player. It's desperate. It's desperation. Nathan Johnson shows how directionless we are. Yeah. Xavier Woods has the same agent as Deshaun, and Deshaun's agent just started following us on Twitter. Really? Uh-oh. Could be a sign. And of course, we also don't we have somebody that's our from on our coaching staff that played with Deshaun? Wasn't it like quarterbacks coach or something like that? Somebody refresh my memory. Mr. Gemini says, if he goes to the Saints and he lights us up, I would be mad. Could happen. Could happen. Sean Ryan, thank you. Thank you. I knew it was somebody. I knew it. Thank you. Deshaun's agent used to be with Michael Thomas also, but he dropped him. Oh, yeah, that's right. Nathan John. Denzel Perryman, who we didn't really end up using, and yet he went to the Raiders and became a Pro Bowler. Dropped Dan Arnold. Dropped Daquan Jones. Gone. Yeah. More examples right there. But yeah, quarterback coach. That's right. Y'all all right. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. But we also restructured Pat Elflein's contract as well to help with the cap. But defense is really starting to be a concern, y'all. Like, our defense is going to take a big hit with this if this trade goes through. So, scary. Scout says, if we trade for Deshaun Watson, we know we're losing a lot for one player. We would still need an O-line. We're not going to be a superstar team because one player comes to our team. Facts. I mean, it's a team sport after all. We'd be getting a better quarterback, a ginormous upgrade from Sam Darnold, that's for sure. But, man, we got to also remember Deshaun Watson last season that he played lit it up, but yet the team finished 4-12. So, I mean, him coming to our team and we don't upgrade the other areas, it's going to be about the same, if not worse. Nathan John says, Saw the Colts requested to talk with Deshaun, and the Texans knocked them back. Refused to trade him to a division rival. I think Watson's coming to us. There's a lot of signs that's pointing to us. And it seems to be coming down to between us and the Saints. I don't know how the Saints still have the opportunity, but yeah. Mamba says, I'm thinking Derek Brown will be in the package. Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the Texans did say that they want a young talent still in their rookie deals, and Derek Brown would qualify. Mr. Gemini says, did you hear where they said that David Tepper told Deshaun that he could pick his own coach? Yep. And I'm going to tell you what I honestly feel. I think Mr. Tepper is bluffing. I think he's bluffing. You know why I feel he's bluffing? Because if we do land Deshaun Watson, there is no way that I could see him being okay with Matt Rule as the head coach. I can't see it. I can't see it. You already saw what happened with Cam. And Deshaun and Cam are like this. They're tight. I think David Tepper is bluffing. I think he's a million gajillion % bluffing. Nathan John says, happy to see him go, Mamba. Bust City. Actually, shoot, that might turn out to be true. Nathan John says, another sign. Saints were reportedly offering O-linemen in their package. Texans re-signed some of their O-linemen today, so I think they want our package. Fair point. Tepper said he'd let him choose his own head coach if Rule doesn't work out this year. Oh, that's the catch. If he doesn't work out this year. I still think he's bluffing. I still honestly think he's bluffing. I don't believe him. I don't believe Mr. Tepper. I think he's bluffing. I still think he's bluffing. I can't be the only one. Y'all don't think he's bluffing? Y'all don't think Mr. Tepper bluffing? I think he's bluffing. But then again, we are a desperate organization. So I mean, it's not impossible. I still think he's bluffing, but it's not impossible. But Nathan John says, nah, he has to make promises like this to get the deal done. I think he's 100% serious. Well, word is we've been trying to holler at Deshaun Watson for a year. He's probably offering all sorts of money outside his contract also. Oh, well, I mean, shoot, Mr. Tepper's very, very much rich. So, yeah. That's you may be on to something there. I will say this though. One thing's for sure. Us getting Deshaun Watson, if it does happen, is gonna be a ginormous split of the fan base. Right down the middle. It makes me wonder how tickets are going to sell if we were to land Deshaun Watson. Because you best believe the fan base is going to be split right down the middle. Because there's still a barrage of the fan base that don't want Deshaun Watson, that thinks he's guilty, and all of that stuff. Mamba says, I heard Ryan Ramczyk is in the Saints deal. Would that not turn off Deshaun? Because that means Saints lose Taron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk. Their offensive line would be destroyed. That's a good point, too. Because those are two key players on their offensive line. Nathan John says, till they see him play. When the fan base sees how good he is, they'll come crawling back. I mean, if they had done their research in the first place, they would know that Deshaun Watson is good. I mean, the dude not too long ago played in the AFC Championship. Something that, Sam Darnold has never done. Sam Darnold's never even played a playoff game. So, I mean, and I don't get how some fans could see Deshaun Watson as a mediocre, average, terrible quarterback. Last season that he played, he was top 5, was lighting it up, threw for what, 33 touchdowns? Not so many interceptions. Shoot, Deshaun Watson, ginormous upgrade. If we land him, ginormous upgrade. Yeah, as a matter of fact, last time he played, 2020. Let me remind the fans. 4,823 yards passing, 33 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions. Only 7. And, of course, he ran for 444 yards and 3 touchdowns. But Mr. Gemini says Hassan Reddick signed with the Eagles. Yes, that is true. That is very true. And, that's going to be dangerous for the Eagles, too. Him and Fletcher Cox on that D-line. Shoot, Eagles going to have a dangerous D-line. Nathan John says, if we are giving up Burns in the trade, the Texans better be taking Darnold so we have $18 million to spend on an edge rusher in free agency. Now, Nathan John, if we do give them to the Texans, don't we still have to take on some of that $18 million, or would the Texans inherit that? Because wouldn't we still have to take on some of that money? Joe Valesco says, if we get Deshaun Watson, will Robbie Anderson want to stay? Yeah. Shoot. I would think so. I would think so. I would think so. Few good edge rushers still out there still. Chandler Jones, Zadarius Smith. Ooh. Zadarius Smith would be good. Yeah. Fletcher Cox could be traded, apparently. Really? Oh, man. That'd be crazy. Mamba says the percentage of the fan base that would leave would be made up by the bandwagons. Fair point. Fair point. Oh, okay. Nathan John says, no, they take all the $18 million. Oh, well, shoot. Give them Sam Darnold. They can have him. Shoot. Bye. Kind of hope we bring back Dante. I was hoping we would keep one of those guys, either Dante or Gilly, but now we're most likely losing both of them, and we just cut A.J. Bouye. Telling you, we're gutting the mess out of the defense. Brendan Bernard, welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. I just joined the stream. You think we're going to get Watson? So, my original prediction was a 5% chance that we get Deshaun Watson. But with so many signs adding up, it looks like it may actually happen as early as tomorrow morning. It's looking like it actually may happen, Brendan. Nathan John says, yeah, I like Sedarius also. He'd be my number one option if we have to trade Burns. Yeah, I think that'd be a nice little replacement. I think that'd be a nice replacement. Tenzin Amdul. Please forgive me if I mispronounce that name. Welcome to the show. Tenzin says, Watson should be happy to be coming to the NFC. In a couple of years, he will be the only legit quarterback left in the NFC. Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Wilson, Burrow, Herbert, and the AFC. It's going to be crazy in that side. That's a good point. He would be a big name in the NFC, especially, there'd be some competition. Still got Tom Brady is back, still got Matt Ryan, still got Aaron Rodgers, still got, Kyler Murray is on, still on the up and coming. Got Dak Prescott. So, NFC has their share of quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford, who had one heck of a season and is a Super Bowl champion. So, NFC has their share of quarterbacks too. Mamba says, remember, Dennis Allen was terrible in his last stint as a head coach. He is no better than Matt Rule going off of his last stint. This is true. That's a fair point. So, Mason D, welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming through. So, let me ask y'all a question. Austin Corbett, Taylor Moton on that right side. Who would y'all like to see us try to go after to strengthen that left side? Now, word is Brandon Sheriff is going to be going to the Jaguars. And Cam Robinson got tagged, got franchise tagged. So yeah, who would y'all like to see on that left side? And Alvin could go to jail. That's right. Alvin Kamara got in trouble for something. Refresh my memory, Mamba. It was recent too. It was very recent. Wasn't it like a fight or a brawl or something like that? Brendan says Tunsil would be nice if he was in the Watson deal. I would like to see that because, like I said before, I don't think we should be just getting Deshaun Watson in this package. I think even just like another player or another pick of some sort. So I would like to be getting more than just Deshaun Watson, at least one other player or another pick. But Khalil Wesley, hey, welcome back to the stream. Says Deshaun Watson didn't waive his no trade clause. Wait, didn't he said that he would be willing? He said that he would be willing to, though. He might not have done it yet, but of course, the Texans, still got to sign off on that. He didn't want to come here. Yeah, he's listening to the offer for the Panthers. When you think about it, if he didn't want to come here, which, I thought that was the case in the first place, and maybe it was, but you got to look at it like this, Khalil. If he didn't want to come here, why would he be listening to offers from the Panthers? I'm just saying. If he didn't want to come here, he wouldn't be listening to us. He would just shove us out the way and just go. He wouldn't even listen to us. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Mason D says Tunsil and Watson for McCaffrey and Darnold. Whew. With the picks, I could probably see that, but then again, taking on Sam Darnold, that's a nail biter. Mamba says Alvin and his friends jumped this guy on their way into an elevator before the Pro Bowl. Oh, gotcha. Tenzin says, I'm thinking Houston's asking for 3 firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 young defensive players on their rookie contract for Watson. Yeah, that's what the word is. And the word is those 2 players are Brian Burns and Jeremy Chin. Supposedly, those are the 2 players. Khalil Wesley says he didn't want to be in the division with Tom Brady. Well, Tom Brady's back, and he's listening to offers from both the Panthers and the Saints. So, I mean, it's all there. It's all there. I mean, that might be the case originally, but Brady is back, and Deshaun Watson's having meetings with the Saints and the Panthers, both in the same division. So I'm just saying that may have been the case before, but that's not the case now. Nathan John says Saints and Panthers, the only teams Watson's interested in joining, apparently. Yeah. Those are apparently the 2 teams he has at the top of his list. As surprising as that sounds, that's what the reports say. Mason D says, I really don't want to give up any guys on rookie contracts. Yeah, me neither. I mean, got a lot of great up-and-coming talent. Khalil Wesley says, Saints will get Watson one way or another. Well, like I said, I originally thought it was only a 5% chance Carolina would get Deshaun Watson, but I don't know. Nothing's official yet, but you know, he could pull a fast one and go to the Saints. We don't know. I don't think the Saints have the cap for it, but they have some sort of plan. They have some sort of deal, some sort of offer. Don't know what it is, but they have some sort of plan. You think the Saints bluffing? Possibly, but I don't think they're bluffing, mainly because if Deshaun has both of those teams at the top of their list, then I mean, you know. Worth it for a top 3 quarterback? Gutting our whole, pretty much a big portion of our defense. I don't know. Worth it? Remains to be seen. Tenzin says, is that why we signed Xavier Woods to replace Chin? I would hate to see us lose Chin rather than him take Burns and Derek Brown. You know what? I didn't think about that. That's actually a fair point. I didn't even think about that. Dang, that does got me worried now. That's a fair point. Mamba says, we've been chasing Deshaun for almost 2 years. You don't think his agent would have done the same thing that he did to the Browns by saying he is not interested? Fair point. Mason D says, what do you think about picking Willis and keeping picks? I mean, I would have been okay with that personally. I mean, because we don't have a second or a third round pick. So I would have liked, you know, trying to get two of those picks. And, Willis, there's a lot of positive things about Willis and Pickett. But, I originally would have been okay with just strengthening our other needs and having to deal with Sam Darnold for one more year. At least he would have better protection, so he can't really make any excuses. But only because we, have that 18 mil to deal with. So that the Panthers would give up more for Watson. I mean, it's already a lot in the first place to give up for Watson. Clell says Seattle, Philly, and Cleveland still interested in Watson. Philly, I'd be kind of surprised. I mean, for Philly to go after Watson means that they pretty much clearly given up on Jalen Hurts, but word is that they're pretty much sold on Jalen Hurts being their starter. Cleveland, I'm not sure what is up with Cleveland and the whole Baker Mayfield situation. And Seattle, they're gonna want a quarterback because I'm pretty sure they're not going to settle for just Drew Lock. Mason D says it's possible. I hope they don't jump the gun to get Watson. We will miss out first round of the draft. I mean, three first round picks included in that package. We're pretty much going to miss out on the first 3 rounds of the draft. Brendan says, I look at it like this. We get Watson with our skill position group. O-line already looks better. The defense won't be as good, but we still have good players that can develop. Bengals defense was 17th. Bengals defense was 17th, and they got to the Super Bowl with a regular season record of 12-4. We had the number 2 ranked defense, and we finished 5-12. That should say something. I mean, and we're essentially defense on paper as of now is looking worse, especially if we're letting go of Gilmore, D-Jack, Bouye, Burns, Hassan, Chen. It's going to look a lot worse. Khalil Wesley, hope we draft Kenny Pickett. Yeah, I do remember you were pretty sold on Kenny Pickett. Mason D wants Willis, wants Malik Willis. Mamba says Deshaun is going to save people's job, not Sam or Cam or PJ. Fair point. That's why they're going so hard on him trying to save their jobs. And Mr. Gemini says we're giving up most of our defense. Yeah. And also, let me go ahead and say this. Right now. I get where y'all are coming from. I really do. I get where y'all are coming from. But we got to stop comparing this team to the Cincinnati Bengals last year. The Panthers and the Bengals are like night and day. There is no comparison. Yes, there may have been some areas on paper that we may be better at, but there were many, many times with the Bengals where that 17th ranked defense rescued them, especially that Chiefs game. And even in the Super Bowl, defense helped keep them in the game. Not to mention that Joe Burrow, a much better quarterback than Sam Darnold. Joe Mixon. I mean, It's like not night and day. Bengals, Panthers, it's no comparison. We got to stop making that comparison. The two teams last season are night and day. It's no comparison. We got to stop comparing the two. We got to stop comparing the two. Because at the end of the day, their team made more plays and they even beat good teams. And we lost to teams that we had no business losing to. We lost to the Giants and we only scored 3 points. Our defense got obliterated by the Washington Commanders with a quarterback, Taylor Heineke. We lost to a Mac Jones Patriots team. We lost to the Eagles, even with the turnovers that we got. Kirk Cousins ate us up in the Minnesota game. Lost to the Saints. Lost to the Falcons. We lost to teams we had no business losing to. And we have the supposed number 2 defense. We need to stop comparing the two teams. Bengals and Panthers, night and day. There's a reason why the Bengals finished the season 12-4, and we finished 5-12. There's a reason the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl, and we didn't. Actually, correction. They actually finished 10-7. My bad. They finished 10-7. Still, big difference. Big difference, y'all. They finished 10-7. We finished 5-12. Not to mention the teams that they beat in the playoffs. Two of them were the number 1 and number 2 seeds in the AFC. Let me get caught up in the chat. Khalil Wesley says, first round draft players succeed. There are some in other rounds that succeed too. And even undrafted players, i.e. Andrew Norwell. Testify Blitz. Yeah. Bengals have pass rushers. We have nothing. I mean, we have pass rushers on paper, but where was the execution? Where was the execution? Khalil Wesley says Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Wilson, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Trey Lance of the draft balled out. Once again, how did Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields ball out? How did they ball out? They didn't ball. Let me go back through this. Justin Fields, 1,870 yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, played in 12 games. That's not balling out. Trevor Lawrence, 3,641 yards, 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. It's a lot of interceptions. A lot of yards, but a lot of interceptions. That's not balling out. Zach Wilson, 2,334 yards, 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. That's not balling out. If anything, the only rookie quarterback that really balled out was Mac Jones. Now, Trey Lance, can't really say that Trey Lance balled out. Trey Lance only played 6 games. I mean, he did well, but 603 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He played well when he was put into the lineup, but he only played 6 games. Now, Justin Herbert, he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Mac Jones, 3,801 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. That's more reasonable. That's a lot more reasonable. But those other rookie quarterbacks did not ball out. Now, like I said, I don't put it all on them because, like I said, it's a team sport. But to say that they balled out, that's just not true. According to these stats, that's just not true. Aside from Mac Jones, Mamba says, I don't think some Panther fans understand taking Willis or Pickett is a pretty big gamble. They would have been drafted in the 3rd or 2nd round if it was for any other draft class. That's what a lot of folks are saying. We should have got Cousins. I would have been okay with that, getting Kirk Cousins, but he's staying with the Vikings. Tenzin says, let's be real. There's no price too high to get an elite franchise quarterback. These guys, especially as young as Watson's 26, don't come around often. It's a fair point. Just imagine what getting Deshaun would do for DJ's career. I mean, DJ's definitely been balling with multiple quarterbacks and, multiple 1,000-yard receiving seasons. Nathan John says, our defense wasn't even number 2 ranked. It's a cherry pick stat. They definitely didn't look like the number 2 ranked defense consistently all season, that's for sure. Because we had injured players fell off the wagon. I mean, we had some, but still, so we still kept up there in the rankings. So, I mean, we didn't have a lot of turnovers, especially interceptions. But yeah, Nathan's got some stats. Says we finished 2nd in yards given up, and we were trash in run defense and like 17th in points allowed. Now, that was definitely consistent. We were trash with run defense. That was all year. That was definitely all year. Tenzin says, once we get an elite quarterback, other players will follow, so we can always rebuild the defense through free agency. If we have the money for it, we still got to have the money for it, because big names in free agency, they're going to want to get paid. I'm all for getting Watson, plus the salary cap is going up the next few years, so we could sign pass rushers in free agency. Yeah, there is supposed to be another big cap increase in the next 1 or 2 years. Um. Oh, that was a troll. Oh, no problem, Mamba. No problem. I get it. It happens. It happens. You're good. You're good. You're good. Um. Let's see. We would have him for like 10 years. If he does come, then I don't want him to get hit like Cam did. Oh, facts. We gotta protect him. And we're off to a decent start with the O line signing. So that's a start. The interview says was a big step for the Panthers and Deshaun. Real source John Ellis. Yeah, and you know, it's surprising, but there's a lot of signs that are pointing to the Panthers potentially landing Deshaun Watson. It's as crazy as it sounds. Um, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with this fan base if we land Deshaun Watson. Like, it might be like chaos in a good way and in a bad way. But there's a couple of folks on Twitter saying that Deshaun is waiving his no trade clause. Which, I mean, he's going to have to anyway, because, I mean, he wants out of the Texans, so he's going to want to do it. But at the end of the day, just whatever happens, we got to really build this team for success. Not only that, but Matt Rule's job is on the line. His job is on the line. Because like I said, I think in order for Matt Rule to keep his job, it's playoffs or bust. Playoffs or bust. We don't make the playoffs, Matt Rule is gone. And if we end up landing Deshaun Watson, it's either Super Bowl in 2 years or that's a bust. Tenzin says, what's your thoughts on CMC? I don't want him gone like other people, but he's getting that injured prone status. Maybe trade him now to get the highest value, then maybe go after a running back in the draft. CMC. I like him. I mean, I love the guy. I mean, I have a CMC pup. You know, I love CMC. You know, I love CMC. But it also comes down to what have you done for me lately? Like, I see both sides of it. On one side, I just feel like he's just had a bad streak of injuries, both contact and non-contact. Secondly, I think if the coaching staff, especially the offensive coordinator, Ben McAdoo, I'm talking to you, if they would limit his touches from the backfield and really start throwing him out there as slot receiver, I think he can still do some damage and be able to live through a whole season without much wear and tear. Because think about it. The year that he got 1,000 and 1,000, I mean, that should say something. The dude can run the ball as well as catch. So when one part isn't working out, use him for the other. Use him in the receiving game. That's another receiver right there. I mean, yeah, he might not be a big guy, but that dude has incredible hands. Like, you could do a lot with that. You can do a whole lot with that. So CMC in the slot, I think, would help. If they got to run him in the backfield, screens, sweeps, tosses, you know, maybe as a pass blocker, as an extra block and leak out. But to give him like so many touches on the ground per game, 89, 90% of the offense is a lot of wear and tear. So if they can fix that, if they can adjust that, then it could work out, CMC staying here. But if not, then like you said, you make a good point. Trade him while he has value now. But the only other disadvantage will be the cap hit. It's a pretty big, decent dead cap hit. So it's a double-edged sword with Christian McCaffrey. Brendan says he also went to Clemson, close to Carolina, and he looked up to Cam. Playing for the Panthers would probably be something he'd like. Yeah. And because him and Cam are tight. They're like this. Shoot, could you imagine if we brought back Cam and Cam were to back up Deshaun? Oh, he'd probably sign here in an instant. As far as go after a running back in the draft, I mean, I like Chuba Hubbard. I think he has a lot of potential. I really do. I think he has a lot of potential. I think they should play CMC slot receiver and have Chuba and Amir be that running. Facts. I would love that, Brendan. I would love that. I would sign off on that. Totally. Mamba says, I really don't want to trade CMC for Watson. They would be so fun to watch together. That's another thing, too. Could you imagine a CMC Watson combo? I mean, we saw what we could see, especially in 2017, with a Cam Newton CMC combo. Could you imagine a Deshaun Watson and CMC combo? It's crazy. Tenzin says, I'm a Panthers fan that lives in Colorado and got to see and play against CMC in high school ball here. I'd probably be the biggest CMC fan here. Oh, really? Nice. And, folks also got to remember, think about putting him in the slot. After all, he is the son of, Super Bowl champion wide receiver Ed McCaffrey. Oh man, I'm gonna try to pronounce your name correctly. Jeff KC. Forgive me if I mess up your name. Welcome to the chat. Chiefs. Oh, we got a Chiefs fan up in here. Well, Chiefs are a good team. Chiefs are a really good team. I wish we had Eric Bieniemy. I would love to have Eric Bieniemy. How soon do you think the trade will be made? Probably as soon as maybe tomorrow morning, or maybe by tomorrow afternoon, perhaps. But that's my guess. But Mamba says, I think by Wednesday we'll get an understanding of where he wants to go. Nathan John says within 72 hours, in my opinion. Yeah, those are good predictions. Those are good predictions. But yeah, Chiefs. Man, that's another man. I can only imagine if we just finish strong in that Chiefs game that we had. Man, we could have beaten the Chiefs. We really could have beaten the Chiefs. Oh, well. But you got to admit, we gave y'all a good fight. Y'all did not win that game easily. We gave y'all a good fight. Jeffrey Casey, we gave y'all a good fight. But yeah. Now we just got to play the waiting game. Yeah, that was a good game. Oh, facts. That was definitely a good game. When Teddy Bridgewater got that big run on fourth down, I was just like, wow, we might actually do this. And then that final drive, we couldn't get downfield. And then Mr. Joey Sly couldn't make that long field goal. And just, yeah. It's funny. I was also at the Chiefs Panthers game the year where Panthers lost after Cam threw the interception, and y'all ran it back for a touchdown. Y'all got a pick six, if I remember correctly. That was back when Alex Smith was y'all's quarterback. Yeah, I was actually at that game with my brother. So that's 3 Panthers games that I've been to. 2 losses and 1 win. But yeah, I was at that game where the Chiefs came to the Panthers. Tenzin says everyone going crazy here in Colorado for Russell Wilson, hoping Carolina gets that same feeling once we get Watson. And let's also remember we got to play Denver this upcoming season. We got to play Denver. So yeah. Russell Wilson has had his good and bad moments against the Panthers, but yeah. Jeffy Casey says, cool, you guys have the money. Good luck on Watson. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I originally thought it was a 5% chance, but it looks like that percentage is much higher. Oh, I got a question for y'all. Would y'all consider bringing back offensive lineman Darrell Williams? Apparently, the Bills released him. I'm just now seeing that the Bills released him. Would y'all consider bringing him back? Mamba says, I hate Von Miller with a passion. I respect him, but I hate him. Pretty much the same thing, same way that I feel about Tom Brady. Well, kind of sort of minus the respect part, but yeah, and now Von Miller, he's got 2 rings. He's got 2 rings. It's crazy. But yeah. But man, looks like we gotta tune in to tomorrow, see what happens tomorrow, y'all. I mean, only thing we can do now is play the waiting game. But like I said, we made a little bit of splash in free agency today. We're bringing in Austin Corbett. We're bringing in Xavier Woods, safety and offensive guard. They're getting to work on the O-line. That's a nice little piece. Both players, 3-year deals, so they'll be with us for a while. So I mean, these were some good pickups. So I mean, we're doing a little bit of work in free agency, and we'll have to see what happens with this Deshaun Watson potential trade. But I can imagine the Carolina Panthers nation is going to go crazy either in a good way or in a bad way. So just be ready for it. Hope for the best. Be prepared for the worst. Oh, man. Nathan John says, I hate the Broncos. I hate the Patriots more than I hate the Broncos. But I'm pretty much feel you. I definitely feel you. And then when you think about it, the Broncos and the Patriots beat us in the Super Bowl, so totally understandable. Thank you for going live. Had a lot of fun watching you, bro. Have a good night. Thank you so much, Tencent, for coming through and chatting with me. Honored to have you. Hope to see you again next time. Rest well. Mr. Gemini says, I wonder what the defense is going to look like. Ooh, I mean, right now, J.C. Horn, C.J. Henderson, very young. Keith Taylor, Xavier Woods, Jeremy Chin is in the trade package, supposedly. It's going to look very weird. Jeffy KC says, what's happening to CMC? We don't quite know yet. I mean, we thought that maybe he was potentially going to be in the trade package. They were listening to offers for Christian McCaffrey. They're open to offers, but if anything, something tells me that we'll still have Christian McCaffrey when this is all over. I just hope, if anything, we put him in the slot, limit his touches out of the backfield, and just take better care of him. Take better care of him. Because I like CMC. He's part of the 1,000 club. He was part of the Madden 99 club. You know, how can you not like CMC? But yeah. Well, I think that'll do it for tonight's live stream. But like I said, crazy day. But we'll see what happens. Mr. Gemini says, I still feel like we need another young running back. Would be nice. And I'm sure we probably will get another running back. Maybe late in the draft, perhaps. I'm off. Have a good one, bro. And Mr. Gemini's out. Yeah, thanks y'all so much for coming through. Definitely love y'all engaging in the conversation. I love hearing y'all's opinions and just sharing with me. But yeah, y'all, let's keep our eyes and ears open. Go as we continue through this week. See what happens. Keep pounding, no matter what. Some way, somehow, we're gonna get through this. But hopefully, the fan base can come on one accord and we can just cheer our team to a Super Bowl. And who knows? Mr. Deshaun Watson just might end up being a Panther. But we'll wait and see. Like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. This has been another Carolina Panthers Talk live stream brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I am your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody gets some good rest and have a blessed day tomorrow. And I will be in touch, and I will see y'all very soon. Love y'all. Keep pounding. Peace out. Good night, everybody.